September 4th, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. Kind of a carryover from yesterday. It kind of moved sideways. Looked like it was one, maybe two small steps up, another sideways, and then kind of a rally, very slow rally, all the way up into the close. It was, and it's still kind of going on right now. It was a very slow trading day today. There wasn't that much volume, and I didn't find too many setups. I think I only marked two. So I'm going to get into the trades right now. Just keep in mind, I think in a couple of weeks is quad turnover. That means the expiration of a bunch of options, both on the futures, regular stocks, a bunch of things are rolling over. So we're going to go from the ESU 25 to the Z25 for the last quarter. So I get into the trades right now. I did not take any trades today because the two setups that I did see, unfortunately, I didn't really take them at the time and ended up being a no trade day. Considering that the volume was really low, I'm not too sad. Okay, so in the pre-market, there was a push up, kind of the sideways chop, sideways consolidation. It's kind of a localized pre-market high, sells off in this choppy fashion, and then it starts on the open. We're going to go ahead and just kind of zoom in on the open. See if I can get this. There you go. So in the open, it creates a new low, pushes out, technically a localized new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. There's no real second entry long here. The signal bar is not that good. Pushes up, kind of makes a matching pre-market high. So when it had a failed breakout, which I didn't really know was a failed breakout at the time, and it came back in, I was thinking that it might be starting into a range. Didn't really have this gray one established yet. So then prices are kind of moving. This orange one, this orange down channel broke, made one attempt down. Looks like it has two legs up. So technically you have a second entry short right here. This is new low, first entry short, second entry short. There's a second entry short, but this is technically your signal bar. It has a good follow through trigger bar. I thought there might be a trading range first, but there was a preliminary early break, so I wasn't too sure about it. So then prices are continue moving down. Looks like if you did take this trade, you might have gotten stopped out right here. Prices move up, and it creates this lower high. And I actually thought this was maybe a possible trade at the time, but I wasn't really sure about it. So I'm going to go read through my notes of what I thought about it. So it is the top of this potential developing range, whether you have a failed breakout or not. It does match the pre-market high range, and it does confirm the second entry long failure. So it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long has failed on this candle, and then this is a lower high to that. But I wasn't too sure. EMA really isn't that reliable right now because it is kind of trending up. There is enough room to the low. It's a decent signal bar. So it's a possible trade, but in the real time, I couldn't reconcile what I was looking at fast enough to feel confident in taking the trade. Ends up working, it flushes down. I also want to mention the only economic data that came out today was at 5:15 Pacific Standard, which is about back in here, which was the non-farm employment change, and then the unemployment claims at 5:30, also right around here. Didn't really seem to move the market all that much. And then the ISM ISM Services PMI was going to come out at 7 o'clock. So it comes down. I think we're in a trading range here as a failed breakout and expecting prices to move back in. It does. Touches the top. I was thinking there might be a small symmetrical breakout here, but keep in mind that this trading range actually could be down here. So I wasn't 100% sure yet. Prices continue to chop sideways. Just kind of noisy, looks a little congested, hard to trust. Also, you got to keep in mind that this trading range is only about 5 points, with the candles moving a good portion of this range. So it makes it a little riskier, especially if they close close to the lows or close to the highs. Breaks out, it doesn't return back in, pushes down, bounces. When it creates this consolidation area here, that's where I thought, okay, there's probably a bigger trading range happening, which I drew as this gray one. Break of this orange down channel. I'm expecting a test of the low. Looks like one push up, one attempt down, does test the low. So now you have multiple tests here and a breakthrough. Looks like a potential fail breakout here. Kind of dwells for a little bit outside. Technically, you have a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long. When I saw this, it was
looked like a possible trade, except it's an inside bar to this. So I wanted to leave it alone. But other than that, I was thinking, man, this is really, it looks like a decent setup. I couldn't discount the fact that the EMA is coming down, so had to leave it alone. Looking for a higher low now. You technically almost get a higher low here, but it never occurs and it just kind of shoots up. So now if there is a higher low here, I feel like the trade is too late, too far from the EMA. I drew this green up channel, kind of pushes up, breaks, break of the green up channel, expecting to test the high, creates a failed breakout of what I think price action is just following inside this gray range right now. So this break, test the high. I'm expecting prices to move back in, but I need a good signal bar. I need a good setup. You technically have a visual first entry short. You do have a second entry short because it broke right below here, but that's not good enough because it's a bad signal bar. It does push down. Technically, you have a visual first entry short, second entry short. This might be worth a trade because it broke up and then flushed down. But I also thought, is there a potential support occurring right here? I didn't really quite have this as, well, it's kind of floating. Let me see, I'm gonna get rid of that, just redraw that. So in real time, I was thinking, I had it as a trend line. And I was thinking, is there a trend line? Not necessarily a channel yet. Is there a potential trend line right here? The prices looks like it's holding. I'm looking for a more definitive lower high, but it doesn't occur. There might be a lower high here, but it fails. Prices continue moving up. Let me go ahead and extend this. This is what I was thinking in real time. Small little break here. First entry long, pull back. Could this be a second entry long? It kind of creates a second entry long, but it opened here, pushes up. I didn't like that it didn't touch the EMA. There isn't enough confirmations to confirm a triple test, so I didn't know if this was really a support yet. So it is a first entry long, second entry long. In order for me to go long, I'm looking for a higher low now, ideally above the EMA in the next couple candles. So that's not helping the cause. You don't really have a higher low, then it flushes up. Still don't have a higher low. Now it looks like it's range bound, so I created this second range. It's a localized new high, first entry long pullback. If this is a second entry long, it's a bad signal bar, so real time, I'm not doing anything. It pushes up, so you have a first entry long, second entry long, confirmed second entry long, but again, in real time, when you see this, you're not getting ready for a long. Creates a failed breakout. Looks like prices might be moving back down into here. You do have like a localized new low. Also, if you did a new low here, first entry short, second entry short, you can reset the count. First entry short, second entry short, it's a doji, so I'm not that excited about the signal bar. Then it pushes down. You could argue maybe there's a second entry short, like if you just localized here, start the count here, first entry short, second entry short, then a first entry long, second entry long failure. But this signal bar, if it had been red, I think I would have felt more confident about it. Turned out it would have worked pretty well. Of course, you don't know that. Pushes down, kind of chops sideways, pushes up, and renormalize this. Looks like it's moving up this orange up channel. Counter this is a localized new low. It's a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but you don't know that at the time. This is an inside bar to this, so it's hard to definitively trust this yet. It has a confirmation right now. There's a new low, first entry short. Clearly made a second entry short. Kind of closed near the low, but for something like this on a day that it's starting to look as bullish because it doesn't seem like it's moving back into this range now. Looks like it's making one big yellow leg up, sideways consolidation. So I'm expecting another big leg up to match this one for two legs up. So I'm not necessarily thinking of going short. So if it's a new low, first entry short, second entry short, if it created a lower high, I'd still be weary of taking a short because the EMA is starting to show strength as support. I never had to really worry about that because the decision was made for me as price action just kept going up. The new high, so first entry long pullback. I thought about this in real time. I thought, is there a second entry long developing right here? Let's break the orange up channel, test the high. So the orange up channel may have played out. Looks like it's one leg down pullback. I'm thinking it could create a second leg down because this could be a tight channel here. And this, let's make it purple. This purple down channel could test the low. So it left me, I thought it might be a trade here, but it just didn't feel quite safe enough. It looked like if you did take it, it'd be you get entered here and likely got stopped out right here if you kept your stop below this guy. And if you didn't, you probably would have gotten stopped out by here, unless you just kept it really far out. So it is a first entry long pullback, visual second entry long. I'm looking for a higher low, and you don't really quite get that. Technically, this is a higher low, but the signal bar is terrible. Kind of prices move up, drop sideways, new high, first entry long. Technically, I have a second entry long here. It's a doji though, but I saw it more as a visual first entry. You could say it's a second entry, but the count is just getting a little bit ambiguous right now because you just be counting technical counts, which contextually doesn't quite look right because it is look like it's ranging. So instead of just counting the actual technical second entry and thinking there's a trade there, looking for a good signal bar, the context doesn't quite support it. Prices move down. So it looks like there's might be a potential triple test, but there was no good signal bar here. Looking for a higher low. This might be a higher low, but it looks congested and you had a doji previously. Prices continue moving. Okay, so it looks like this might be the support and this could be the high side of the range. So this new low, first entry short. Technically, I have a second entry short. Again, this signal bar doesn't tell you or give you any indication in real time to go short. Bounces, gets a little choppy, starts moving out, potential fail breakout. Looks like it's 2 legs up. I'm expecting another move down. So I saw a visual first entry short, another visual second entry short. I'm looking for a bounce up in the next couple candles to touch the high of the range and then flush down. So essentially a lower high. This could be a lower high, but I don't like the signal bar. And it kind of resolves that issue completely by just continuing upwards. And then I saw this potentially as a second entry long, because technically it's a new high, it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long, bounce off the EMA, bounce off the potential low of range, enough for a 1-point scalp, decent signal bar. The problem I had was this is inside to this guy. And so I wasn't too sure if this had just broke down 1 tick below this guy and closed the same way or even better at the high, then I definitely would have probably jumped on this trade. But nevertheless, if you're more aggressive, this probably would have been a possible trade. Now it moves up to the highs, so I'm not sure if this is going to act as a secure resistance. It kind of pushes up and out. Drops around, first entry long, second entry long, bad signal bar, no trade there. Continues moving up, pushes down. I'm thinking there might be price action moving in this orange up channel break. It doesn't quite make it back into the orange up channel. And then I decided there actually might be a range here. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. This really isn't a clean, strong touch because this is clearly a touch here, clear the touch. So I only saw it as a 2 touch confirmation. Ideally looking for a 3rd touch. The new low, first entry short. Technically I have a second entry short here, but again, the doji doesn't quite look right. It looks like it might be trying to move into the orange up channel, but it is a break. Maybe it has tested the high. Could be a failed breakout. But it continues upwards, so there was really no short trade there. Plus, if you look to the left, not really sure prices are range bound anymore because it looked like it was ranging, pushed up, small little range here, push up, another consolidation, another push back up. While this orange up channel was playing out, I thought there might have been a tighter green channel because it looked like it was obeying pretty well. Unfortunately, there was no real setup here. Prices move up, kind of moves back into the orange, but it's a little confusing to me right now because the orange doesn't quite contain it at the later half of the price action, and the green does, but there's no break of the green to try to take a long. Great say new high, first entry long, pullback. I'm looking for a bounce off here because there is looks like 1 leg, now it's 2 legs. I'm looking for a reason to go long. You kind of have a reason here. I just wasn't that excited that this broke so far below, but it engulfed back. So it's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. I'm looking for a higher low confirmation. I just don't trust this right now. This red one was a floater idea. That's why I didn't color it in. I wasn't really sure. I was thinking maybe I can contain all this price action in a bigger channel, but it didn't really quite confirm and get a clean, confirmation of this price action for me to color it in. So that's why it's transparent. So I'm looking for a higher low, first entry long, second entry long, never broke above, so I'm not that excited about it now. Keeps going up, and unfortunately, no higher low forms. Kind of bounces. You could say this is a higher low. So, but the problem with this calling this a higher low is it has made a new high now.
It's like first entry long, second entry long. This, I guess it is a higher low, but it's not quite confirming the setup because this setup has already pushed up and made new highs. So I don't see this as quite a valid higher low right now, or at least anything I feel comfortable taking a trade with. Pushes up, kind of keeps going, and it kind of moves into the close because this is also really late in the day. This is like at 12:50 if you look at the timestamp. And 12:50, there's only 10 minutes left. I'm not taking a trade here, especially when I look to the left and I see that there weren't that many, at least easy setups or obvious setups for me. And I wasn't going to try to make anything happen toward the latter few minutes. So kind of an interesting day. Hopefully tomorrow picks up a little bit, gets a little bit better price action, and hopefully get some trades in. So hopefully that was helpful.